two.
Skibbity bop, skibbity boppity boo.
Check two.
Welcome to the Four Brewers podcast. My name is John Holzer, and as always, I am joined by
Check two. Jason Harris.
Check three, Gregory Nagel.
and we've got Kyle Wells joining us in the studio once
Kyle
again.
from the chat.
Hi.
How you doing, Kyle?
Good. How's it going?
Are you also in the chat?
We're
He's
doing
not in the
good.
chat.
We're back
yeah.
from beer being dead after drinking shitty kombucha on
Beer's
the last
alive.
episode. So beer is back.
Beer's back.
And today we're drinking nothing but lager and Pilsner. Which is,
The evolved.
I mean, we've made it, right?
We've evolved to this point.
We've made it as a podcast.
Pilsners are back in a big bad way.
You know what you get? Nothing but trouble.
I remember, was it you, Kyle, or someone else that said something about, maybe it was on Instagram, I think, like when our Pilsner is going to be like recognized as being like the new hype beer. And Matt Becker commented when people actually buy them.
That's very
So
true.
on the Discord, yeah.
I think
I buy 'em.
I don't think breweries are jumping to put them on shelves because they're not selling.
Well, he has a point though. Like he does work at a brewery, and I'm sure he has, a big brewery. He works for Oscar Blues and has some kind of inside knowledge on this. But they're not. It's not like people are lining up to buy Pilsner like they're lining up at Monkish to buy Haze
But
cans.
beer that people line up for, it does not make up a significant
That's
portion
true.
of beer sales.
Yeah.
It's a disproportionate amount of beer attention, but not beer sales.
That's very true.
Right? Nobody's lining up for fucking Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, but how many fucking multitudes of the entire yearly output of every hazy brewery
Yep.
goes into...
You have totally discredited what I said, and you did a good job. So
I mean,
you have a very good point.
breweries aren't piling on to rush these onto shelves because they're not selling.
Yeah. Right.
Right? Like...
They're hard to make. They take longer to make. They're probably pricier because of that fact. You're hogging up tanks. Even if you have horizontal tanks, you're going to turn it out maybe a week or two less.
Yeah.
But it's still like instead of a 14-day turnaround on an IPA or a hazy or something like that, this is like a month. Mm-hmm. So, and if it sucks, you're dumping it, So,
Well, hopefully some of the beers that I brought may change your mind.
So what do we want to start with, Kyle?
I love Pilsner.
We've got a nice variety here. We've got some stuff from Highland Park, from Live Oak, Modern Times collab, some Homebrew.
I was thinking of getting the homebrew out of the way and actually comparing it to the Live Oak and to the
let's do a
Highland Park.
tasting.
Let's do it, man.
Let's start this.
So you've got
Homebrew.
two homebrews here. What did you bring?
So both of these homebrews are the same batch on brew day, but two different yeast strains.
Nice.
You can tell it's homebrew because it's in a bomber, and nobody puts beer in bombers anymore.
Yeah, I filled these bombers from the tap.
What's the last bomber you bought? Like to the group?
Probably El Segundo. They still come in bombers.
Yeah, that's probably what mine was too. Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you.
Kyle, do you want some bombers? I have like 4 cases of new bomber bottles.
Not that many. Maybe a case.
I'm seriously just going to put them in the recycles.
I have a case of bombers in the closet that like one of my jackets fell on top of, and the cats now use it as their like sleeping hideout space. And so I'm glad to know the beer I brewed is being used.
Nice. So is,
Effectively.
which Pilsner is this? This smells nice and grassy.
All right, so this one,
Saucy.
start with the grain bills, all German Pilsner. I put in 17 pounds German Pilsner malt, 1 pound of Caterpills just for head retention. Hops, I did Tettnang in the early hops.
Smells German.
Threw in a Herzbacher just because I had it early
I
hops.
was stationed in Tettnang back in Nam.
Shit.
I had a
Charlie
late
don't
hop,
brew.
Hallertau Blanc Whirlpool hop.
Charlie don't brew. 4 brewers. Charlie don't brew.
Well, they do.
That's the name of the episode. Charlie don't brew. No, I shouldn't do that.
No.
That would be bad.
Can we still make fun of Jerry's? Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Jerry's out there trying to eat the krauts, and the Kaiser coming out here trying to take our freedoms.
So I may have missed it because we were joking over all of your speaking there. But this is the lager or the pills?
Pills.
Okay.
And this is the...
I was going to say it with the pills.
the yeast is global from Imperial Yeast, and I believe it's a Weinstefan strain.
All right.
So it's a nice pale yellow. It does have a little bit of a haze to it, but otherwise pretty clear.
I mean, yeah, it's very slight. This is like...
Homebrew haze.
It's the homebrew haze. I mean,
Yeah.
if you wanted to biofine it and lose a small... Like if you're doing competition or something, then I would probably biofind it or something.
I would tell you, as the host of Cheap Beer Corner, there are plenty of commercial lagers that have this
Some
level
sort
of
of
haze or more.
Okay.
Yeah, I did throw in some gelatin in the keg.
Aw, man. Don't use gelatin.
That was...
Come on, Kyle.
I don't
There's
know,
always room for Jell-O, John.
No, it's fucking stupid.
always room for
So this
J-Lo.
is not vegan.
The Kentucky gelatin.
I say as I ate cheese pizza 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's...
It just settles
if
out.
that
You're not
particular gelatin
drinking
I
it.
bought is a vegan version or not. Because there's
No, gelatin is not vegan.
different
period.
types of clarifiers, right?
Well,
No, but it's
yeah.
not gelatin by
Biofine is
definition.
the big one.
Okay.
Biofine is not gelatin.
Yeah,
if
it's a
you're
good-
adding gelatin, like it's gelatin, it's not vegan.
It's cow parts.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I thought it was
horse hooves or
horse.
something. It's glue.
hooves. Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
It's
I'm just
very
making that up.
effective.
It's
but
animal chunks. Let's just leave it at that.
if you're trying to make vegan beer, don't use gelatin. That's all.
It's like a pork terrine, basically.
So this one I kegged on the 20th of last month.
Okay.
So let's see how many weeks. 4 weeks now it's been kegged.
It's got a very bright aroma. When I first poured it, it was almost a little, not sulfury, but like it had a little bit of a kick to it, like a burn.
There was one day, maybe 2 weeks ago, and just randomly poured a glass, and it was a sulfur bomb.
Yeah.
And I checked it in the morning, it was fine. Checked it the morning after, it was fine. It was just that night, just a sulfur monster.
Huh. That's weird.
Checked it.
And this was this was pretty early on, so it was actually really hazy. When I first kegged it, I was kind of just sampling it every few days, and just slowly just cleared up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is definitely more of the clarity I'm looking for.
What was the finishing gravity on this?
Finishing gravity. Let's go to session.
Because I feel like it's got an ample body to it, but it feels like it could be a little drier. It's got a little bit of a sweetness kind of lingering. Not, I mean, I'm being very, very nitpicky. This is really tasty. Like it's really good.
1.008.
Okay.
Starting was
That's pretty dry.
1.048.
Okay.
And that's a 5.3%.
Talk to me about your bittering hop edition, because I feel like it's maybe just a tad too much bitter for for what I expect in something like this.
I did a tetning on first wort hops. And it was a 60-minute boil. So 60 minutes with the tetning, an ounce of Herzbacher at 40, another ounce of tetning at 25, and then an ounce of Hallertau.
Was that a recipe
15
that you're
minutes.
following, or was that something that you're just like, I'm just going to do it every
Just
20?
some hops that I wanted to try. I think I had some tetning left over, and then I bought some Hallertau Blanc just because I wanted something brighter
Okay, cool.
for the aroma hops.
Yeah, it definitely comes off it's got that herbal grassiness, sort of like wet hay that I would, which I super appreciate. It's a really nice nose on it. I just think that the bitterness is like something, it lingers a little bit too long. I don't know if that's something you dial back just
Estimated
a touch.
IBUs on this 28.6.
I'm getting a bit of, I think, acetaldehyde character to it when I drink it. There's like a little bit of that green appleiness on it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm detecting a little bit of it. Otherwise, it has a nice, like kind of bready character. Although it's got a little bit of a funk. I'm guessing it's come from the noble hops, but it's got that kind of not sour funk, but yeah, that kind of Euro funkiness.
Yeah, the wet hay sort of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not sensitive to the acetaldehyde, but
I don't get any of that at all.
Yeah, I don't get it, but I do get like a massive bready chewiness from it. That's why I asked about the finishing gravity, because it's not too sweet, but it feels like it could be either it could have less body or be more dry. And finishing at 10.8, I mean that's pretty dry.
That's
for
pretty dialed in.
pills. So yeah, but again, I'm being super picky, but I don't get the acetaldehyde at all.
Yeah, I have a version of this I'm fermenting right now. Everything's the same except I went with more tropical hops. So
Sweet.
I think that would help it a lot. Honestly, the hops are they sit pretty big on the palate. I think like Greg is saying, maybe a little too bitter. And because it's kind of a dankier, nobler hop, it gives the whole thing kind of this.
It lacks a brightness.
It gives it kind of almost like a foggy character or something.
It's muddled.
No, like it's like like the wetness of the air on a foggy day. It like sits on your mouth like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
That's what I was saying about the bitterness. It sort of just lingers.
Yeah.
I've always felt like my beers come out a little bit more bitter than the calculated IBUs.
You're like the stone brewing of homebrewers.
Yeah, I always forget to adjust for that. So I'm like, oh yeah, this comes out more bitter than it's supposed to.
Yeah, just like 10, I would say 15% less on the early editions. I think that would clean things up quite a bit.
I would say I could drink half a liter of it.
Half a liter, not bad.
Half a liter.
Not bad for a homebrew.
I drink a bomber of it.
I kind of like the bitterness on it. I mean,
yeah, you get used to it. Like I said, I'm nitpicking this. You brought your homebrew. We're going to give you an honest opinion.
If I made this, I'd be pretty damn proud of it. It's
for sure
tasty, definitely.
Would it surprise you to say that I fermented it for less than a week?
No, I think there is some lingering fermentation in there.
So I did
that could be why I get that chewiness from it,
and maybe that's the acetaldehyde.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did 65 degrees for probably about 4-ish days, then let it rise to 70 for a couple more days, and you kegged it up.
Particular reason why?
Just want to play with getting something that's crushable in a short amount of time, especially on the homebrew scale. I'm not gonna.
So was it a lager yeast you used, but you just did it at 65?
Right.
I'd be curious to see the same recipe, but following like a proper lagering.
Yeah, it'll probably be much cleaner.
Yeah, I wonder if that would eliminate that character, the off character that I'm getting to.
Yeah, tasting it from day one, just gradually tasting it, definitely changes.
I think, yeah, definitely just let it settle in the keg and lager it that way, and then maybe transfer it one more time and then serve it up. I think it'd probably be a totally different beer.
Yeah, well, we had Eric Hoffer on the show. He was a home brewer that brought a lot of really good beers. I think he brought like 6 or 7 beers that we had on the show. That was episode 250. He told us that he kind of had the same approach to Pilsners and lagers where he just fermented at normal ferment temps like 65, 70 and didn't really bother to lager at all. And somehow his beers were great. Like they turned out fine.
I swear he was lying to us.
And I mean, this kind of turned out the same way. It's not, perfect, but it's definitely
drinkable. Yeah.
I wouldn't. Drinkable sounds bad to me.
Oh, okay.
It comes off. It's good. I would happily drink a keg of this. Like this is really, really good. But there's just something like with the lagering process that finishes the beer, and somehow his beers didn't have that flavor of unfinished like fermentation.
There was something in his process that he did.
Yeah. So, but again, we're being super nitpicky, and overall, it's
overall good beer,
tasty beer.
Yeah, I really want to just let it sit in the keg in a chest freezer or something for a couple months, but I kind of like how it tastes now, and I like just kind of learning how it changes over the weeks.
Keeping a log,
and not really keeping a log, just kind of. But problem with that is now I'm down to 2 gallons left.
Oh, gotcha.
Just taking samples.
Keep that lager pipeline going.
Problem with this beer is I keep drinking it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of homebrew, right?
Yeah, so I got another one on deck. Same thing. I did 65 degrees, same yeast. I actually used the same yeast cake for the next one.
There you go.
That'll be kegged maybe this weekend or next weekend. So actually, I also want to do pass around a Live Oak Pils.
Yeah, so we're drinking
quick
Pils
comparison.
Yeah, Pils from Live Oak. I believe we've had this beer on the show before. I know we've had Live Oak on the show before, and I'm almost positive we have had this beer before.
Is this the Pils?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this says this is 36 IBU, so almost 10 IBUs more than my by
totally
calculation.
Totally different hops character on the nose in this one. This one has more of like a lemon herbal character, eucalyptus leaf.
Yeah, this smells like it didn't travel well. This did come from Texas, and
I think it may have been a slightly different one because we had Live Oak Gold before.
Oh, okay.
But this is Live Oak Pils with a Z.
Gold. Yeah, this one's. I mean, it's weird to compare Pilsners because they're so different. Like, you would be surprised. Like they're all mostly German malt. They're usually German hops, and using some sort of German lager yeast. And it's amazing how different they can all land, just depending on those variables. This one has sort of like a corny vibe on the nose.
Yeah, so the Live Oak Gold is a German style Pilsner, and the Live Oak Pils is a Czech Pilsner.
Got it.
Yeah, I looked this up, and this Pils is, they say, decoction mashed with a single heirloom variety Moravian malt. So I think it says all single malt and all Saaz hops.
Wow.
Rich Corinthian malt.
Fine Corinthian.
It's got a similar look to your
Yeah, same haze level.
your Kyle. It's a very slight haze to it. But yeah, massive corn on the nose.
Yeah, right? It's corn funk. Like tortilla almost.
I don't know if I think I'm okay with it, but it's a little much.
Yeah, I want to blame the heat because this usually tastes way better. I was just in Texas a few weeks ago, and yeah, it was a completely different thing. This traveled in the heat through the mail in kind of the hottest part of summer.
Yikes.
So I want to blame the heat now on this.
I mean, it does. The nose to me comes off like pretty typical Czech Pils, though. I'm getting that.
I do get the Pils character from it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the funkier, more hop character that you're getting out of a Czech Pils versus like a German.
Right.
Also, the mouth feel, I would say their water profile is significantly different from yours as well, where it has like this bright sort of minerality. Maybe they're using a high like chloride sort of situation.
Yeah, mine I definitely used more brewing salts than I normally use. I did a water profile. I used Beersmith's Yellow Dry water profile.
Yeah, see, this beer is very soft on the palate, and then it has like a bitter finish. Like I'm honestly want to try the good version of it because I really like how this beer is tasting.
Yeah, it's tasty.
So if you're like, wow, this is so much better when I had it before, I'm like, fuck, this is really good right now.
Yeah, it is.
I know you're saying that you think this is bad compared to when you had it. I don't think it's bad. I think it's fine.
I drink a liter of it,
and it's it's similar to your beer in the good ways, I would say. Also in terms of like the body, where I think yours came off more of like maybe it wasn't quite finished. I don't want to say finished fermenting. Maybe it's like it didn't all come together kind of thing. Where this is, like Greg said, more of like a water profile thing where, I can see how you would
kick brighter.
Maybe they bumped up the chlorides to kind of give it a softer feel.
Yeah, on mine, I planned on just letting it sit in the fermenter for 2 weeks, but I just got kind of antsy and just wanted to kick it up.
So you said you used Beersmith to do your water profile mineral additions. So you use RO or?
The RO water.
Okay.
Yeah, 100% RO.
Row your water gently.
And I'm going to give Live Oak the benefit of the doubt. Like, they make great beer, and while this might not be up to Kyle's standards, I think it's still pretty good.
It's tasty. So I just poured his second bottle in my glass.
So the second bottle, same as the first, except for the yeast.
What's the yeast?
I brewed this with a friend, Charles, and he took
Xavier?
home. Not that one. No, Xavier's down the street. I took half of it. He took home the other half of the wort, put in an American lager yeast, and he doesn't have the temperature control I do, so he fermented it inside the house. So it's probably more ranging in the 70, 75 degree fermentation range.
So this is that beer?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a ferment off. Go.
So yeah, this is White Labs American Lager Yeast WLP 840, and I believe this is the Budweiser strain.
Ooh.
So this has a kind of a.
I'm going to point that to sort of a vinyl character.
I was like plasticky, dirty.
Fine Corinthian leather.
It's something off. Okay. So first and foremost,
a little rubber sort of vinyl kick in there.
The whole lager pills character of yeast that you would normally get off of a beer isn't there. Like,
you shouldn't get any character of yeast in a German lager. Like, you might get a subtle kick of sulfur, but ideally a good lager, you're not getting any yeast, esters, no phenols, no nothing. It's just like, that's the whole point of lager, is like stripping all that shit out, and everything's like compressed out of the beer and it's settled, and you're just getting pure malt and hops.
I've always gotten a weird cherry note out of Budweiser specifically.
Well,
I'm not getting.
American
I was
lagers
curious to get it.
American lagers are all over the place, right?
Well, he said he used
Mexican
the Budweiser
lager
yeast, right?
Yeah,
So
Mexican lagers have a yeast character, I would say. So, I'm talking out my ass. But in an ideal, like, Weihenstephaner lager, you're not going to get any yeast. You're not getting any fruity characters. Or,
When you drink the Neger Lager, you should not detect any yeast character whatsoever.
no, I mean ales. Yeah, that's the whole point of ales.
Neger Lager.
I think I'm getting maybe a slight apple character on the nose. That's what I'm smelling, like a vinyl apple thing.
No, it has that, like, you just open the package of something, like something that comes in like a zip seal, like plastic. It's like, and it smells like that.
It smells like the plastic.
Yeah, like,
But what is the zip
Like
seal?
a
actually?
like an air mattress, like an air mattress.
Yeah, that's it. Like that's
It's like when the air blows out of an air mattress. It's that smell. I think we're spending way too much time in the aroma. What we're pointing at, though, is there is something off in the aroma, and definitely
smells like used air mattress. Air.
Yeah, Budweiser.
There's just a weird funk on the nose.
To be honest, I think it may be still the. I think the hop profile on the beer is a little bit,
because it is a little danky too, right?
yeah. Because the flavor, I'm getting a lot of the similar notes. That same kind of funky. I think it's either the varietal or the amount of hop is a little bit overpowering in this beer.
But the bitterness on this is way cleaner than the first one. It's,
It does finish a
definitely
little,
cleans
a
up.
little cleaner. Yeah, it doesn't linger on the palate like the
Flavor
other,
on this is
like
really
the
nice.
other version.
Yeah, that's weird because same exact batch.
Just different yeast, huh?
Yeah.
Just different fermentation schedule.
Yeah, and that was the main experiment, is trying the two different yeast strains, see what they did at warmer temperatures.
I'm pretty sure just extended lagering would clean up all of that.
Yeah, maybe just an extra week in the. Curious to see what an extra week just in the fermenter would do.
Just stop drinking it, man. Like, just stop.
I
I think that's your biggest fault as a homebrewer, is drinking it too early.
The next version of this with the other with the more tropical hops, was thinking about kegging this weekend, but yeah, I think I'll just let it sit for that one extra week.
My
Right,
good homebrew
sure.
buddy Brad, Brad Daniels, he does that same thing. He brews a batch and it ferments. He transfers it into a keg, and he force carbs it, rolls it on the ground, and he puts it on tap. And I'm like, dude, just let it rest for like 10 days after that.
I have
You're
the
gonna get
same-
amazing beer.
I have the same problem in my IPA. Like I'll
IPA
force
is a
carb
little
it.
different because
No,
you want
I think
fresh.
it's worse
Oh,
to do
really?
that. Yeah. I'll force carb. I'll put the PSI to like 30.
30, yeah.
And
You
I'll
roll
roll
it.
it around for 2 minutes, and I'll let it sit for a half hour, and then I'll relieve the pressure and let it and I'll drink it. And I'm like, there's something wrong with this beer. It's just, you're right.
It's
the
super
carbonic
green.
acid has to work its way into, like, you taste carbonic
also, I think
acid,
you're-
and like it has to get into in solution, not only in term, like, not only literally into solution, but like as far as like combining with all the other flavors happening in that.
And there's also
liquid.
conditioning, so you're going to get that, like, just a more refined, more complete beer. It's not like you're getting blah and blah and blah. It's like, oh, this is a really good beer. Like,
Right.
overall, you're not like just drinking hops or
Yeah,
whatever.
impatience is one of my flaws as a person who formerly made beer that still might.
So I definitely, even though the nose was off in the second one, I prefer that drinkability wise. I think just the
I would
bitterness
say
was a
too,
little
the
better.
second
Yeah,
version.
I'm really surprised. I haven't done those two side by side yet, and because the American Lager one is over at my friend's house, but
Has he been drinking his too?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, totally different bitterness. I'm really surprised with that.
So what did you pour here?
This is Highland Park.
Highland Park
from
makes a fine lager.
Chinatown location. American Lager. Friendlier.
still haven't been there.
American Lager. Oh, it's red.
They call it a chuggable American lager on the label.
Wow. Give me the can, bro.
Only information I can find on that is it's a dry hopped lager, and they use just classic German noble hops, Tettnang and Hallertau. Hallertau.
Oh, that is so farty.
Mittelfrüh.
Oh, the middle fruit, the middle pick. That's the same hop that's in Samuel Adams' Boston Lager.
And I freaking love Highland Park.
Yeah.
Don't we
This
all?
one smells so farty, though.
I try to limit myself from bringing
Man,
them
that's
on the
farty.
show more because I bring them on the show too much. So.
It's been a while since we've had Highland Park on the show, actually.
We need that soundbite.
No,
Man.
we don't. We actually don't.
Been a while
No.
since I've been on.
All four of these have been
Been a
just
while.
crazy different from each other.
I get a slight fartiness.
Oh man, I'm so sensitive to the fart. I'm swirling it, trying to blow it out of my glass. Get out of there.
You
fart.
don't blow it. It doesn't blow off. You just acclimate to it.
No, you blow it out, man.
Didn't you learn that
It's
at
like a
the
fart.
last California Craft Beer Summit?
When you spread your cheeks and fart, like, do you keep the windows rolled up and you keep your ass clenched together and like enjoy it for later, or do you like roll down the windows and like let it go out of the window in your car?
We're just gonna let that one linger like Greg's fart.
Oh my god!
I'm leaving that pause in. If you are listening to this
Did you have
podcast
to?
with Smart Speed turned
you have
on,
to?
turn Smart Speed off because it's much better. Getting that pause.
I tried searching my Highland Park emails to find more info about this, and I could not find it. But I did find out that they open at 10 a.m. on Sundays now.
10?
Wow,
Yeah, that's nice.
this tastes really good.
For that church crowd.
For me, that'd be like perfect.
Is that a Doyer Sunday?
We went in there last time, and Sarah wore a blue dress, and it just so happened that she inadvertently picked like straight up Dodger blue, and so there was like tons of Dodger fans in there, and they like see her and they're like, "Oh, hey, can you come take a picture of us?" Like, but it's clearly like, "Oh, you're one of us. You're the Dodger fans," and we're like, "Oh no." I mean, guess better than wearing Angels colors.
Yeah, for sure. Wearing red to a
Dodgers
Highland
and
Park.
Angels, Bloods and Crips.
Are you guys
Tails old time.
baseball fans?
Poo holes. No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Neither am I.
whatsoever.
I couldn't care less.
Fuck baseball.
I'd go to a game if
I went to a
the beer
game and it
better.
was the worst. Everybody there was terrible. Like, I was like, God, all these people fucking suck. Like, every person around me is the worst. I was at an Angels game, and like they gave away like fucking chia pets, and dudes are just like chucking them to break them in the fucking ground. Just
wow.
like,
Apparently, soccer matches are the best to go to as far as like quality spectators. Like, it's people that are super hardcore, but also very cool. And I don't know, people like Brian Herbertson, Herbie Homebrew. He works at Simsies. He's a huge soccer fan.
they do
Like,
have those chants, those detailed chants.
They do.
Yeah, like they have like whole songs.
like a paragraph?
Like, yeah. Like your team has like a song with like verses and shit, and they like the crowd will sing it.
Huh. Yeah, the last thing I watched was the Women's World Cup, and I never watched soccer. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't think the women's team has a chant.
That was fun to watch,
should.
though.
I think Bob Kuntz is one of the best American brewers out there.
From
Yeah,
Highland
getting back
Park.
to the beer, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of poo holes,
So has the poo blown off the nose, Gregor?
yeah, it's completely gone.
Okay, so you've acclimated to the beer.
He cracked the window.
I cracked the window on it, and it's good. I'm like the dog. I'm the dog with my head out the window, tongue flapping.
I think it's Highland
Gums
Park is a
flapping.
favorite so far.
It's
This
super
is-
clean. It does have a
Yeah.
little bit of a sulfury finish. Weirdly, on the like aftertaste, like it's almost like I want to burp sulfur character, but like very subtly. But it's just like, like kind of in the back of my throat, I'm getting like a mild sulfur character. But otherwise, this beer's a pretty good example of an American light lager. They didn't go over hopped, which everybody does when they try to do an American lager.
Like a comforting thought in my head is sitting on a bench outside of Highland Park where it's shady but still like warm, and drinking this beer would be fantastic. Like this is perfect for
If I was on a
for
swing
that.
set,
Oh my
like
God.
in front of the ocean.
A swing set in front of the ocean.
Yeah, that's what Greg brings to the beach. You know, other people bring an easy up, or Greg brings a swing
Now, there's
set.
beaches with swing sets.
To entice children to
Right. I'll go
swing
on
on
a
a
swing
swing
set.
set.
Hey, little girl.
Sunset happening.
Hey, little girl, you like swings? Come hang with
You like Highland Park?
come hang with Uncle Greg. Have some of this friendlier lager.
God.
Can you push me?
Friendly
Can you push me on this swing?
Oh my God.
This is like
It-
cheesy dong.
It's hey, little boy, can you help an old man out and push him on the swing?
And then she's like, it's a big nut.
Gregory Epstein.
Gross. Oh, why is that so funny?
Children, tie a rope to old Greg and just help him swing.
Tied around my diabetes toe.
I'm watching you lose that retweet live right now.
Yeah, Highland Park's not going to retweet anybody.
Yeah.
They don't even have Twitter.
They're too cool for it.
They're too cool for
I think
school.
they have Twitter, actually. I think they do.
I don't know.
Their stuff's always just like tasting rooms open.
What is this beer? What is
So I'm passing around Abaddon.
Ooh, Wayfinder.
From Modern Times.
Abaddon.
It's a collaboration pills. I think this is a batch 2 of this.
With the Wayfinder in Portland. And it's from the Portland Modern Times as well. It's
Yes.
brewed in Portland.
Helles style lager, brewed with German malts, hopped with Pearl and Hallertau Mittelfrüh.
Oh my. Oh, hell
We got 5.6%. I didn't get the IBUs on this one.
I do.
never
I have
had-
some breaking Anaheim Modern Times news.
Uh-oh.
And
Greg,
Go on.
you have the soundboard.
oh,
No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one.
what is it?
The drum roll.
Oh, it's not that big.
Oh, shit.
All I want to say is, so this is from Rob Andrews, the guy who's the manager of expansions with Modern Times. So he said, thanks for reaching out, getting a hell of a lot closer here. I've got our marketing department and they put together a statement for your use. So Anaheim's moving along, although obviously the timeline is much larger and a bit more fluid than a lot of other locations by virtue of its massive size and complexity. There will most definitely be a dope ass pool and an adjacent bar, although a swim up bar was never really in the cards. And we'll absolutely be encouraging Stephen Michael to wear his sauciest summer ensembles.
So we've learned nothing.
And well, a lot of people are asking me, "Hey, dude, is the pool still happening? Is like,
Oh, okay. I
what's
didn't
the
know
date?"
that. All right.
Production end of things, they made a few adjustments to the original plan. The brewing capacity will remain the same. They ended up building such a huge project in San Diego that they're going to be brewing there. They're not going to be brewing on site in Anaheim. I don't think that was ever.
I didn't
a
think they were
thing.
supposed to brew in Anaheim.
I think no, they
I'm
were going
looking
to.
at
They were
the
going to.
original announcement, and there's a big section that shows brewery.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I don't think they're doing brewery. I think they were going to do like a gun whale situation where they're going to bring wort up and ferment on site or in barrels, but I don't think that's happening anymore.
That seems like a logistical pain in the ass for Modern Times to do.
Yeah, Anaheim will be a draft-only battle station, producing year-round seasonals and special releases of the hoppier, non-funky variety.
I love my
there
Battle
you go.
Station. Come on.
Battle station. That's a
They're
marketing
so
thing.
cool.
The original
Dope ass.
announcement on their website is coming in 2017 and to Anaheim.
Yeah.
That's
that
the-
building
that's
was.
the beer
It's a
industry.
historic building, and they had to bend over backwards with the city to kind of convert it into a modern, no pun intended, modern adventure that is capable of. Because it was a warehouse for like 20 years.
Yeah,
which is like lawnmower shit.
We drove by during Vegan Fair, was it?
Yep.
Yeah, and it looks cool.
It looks like
From the
they're
outside?
damn near, but
Yeah.
wow, they're saying December-ish. So
Did you guys see local brewery Escape is opening a new brewery? You see that, Jason?
I did not.
They got some old historical building in Redlands. It's huge. And like they're not a very popular or well-known brewery, but like it seems very ambitious of them to do this. But yeah, it's like an old historic building. They're retrofitting it for like earthquake code and obviously for brewery stuff. But yeah, that's exciting.
it is. So this beer,
Come with me and escape.
this beer tastes very American Pilsner. It's
Have
like,
you guys ever had anything from Wayfinder?
Yeah, I went there.
Where are they at?
Portland.
oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had their beer.
They're one of the they're considered one of the like spots to go by the folks up in thereabouts. But I went there and I was super drunk.
You were drunk going there.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I'd been to like a lot of breweries and like I was like Ubering around and yeah, like it's hazy. It was a New England IPA of a night. Let's just say that. I don't know if I could coin that. I coined that phrase now, and I'm going to reuse that. It was a real New England IPA of a night.
I'm smelling more bread crust out of this one.
Yeah,
I
for
can
sure.
get that. Yeah, definitely.
A little bit of looks a little darker too, like a Munich malt maybe was added. It's a little beefier on the mouthfeel. It's got way more of like an American, even though it's like German hop, but it's way bolder of a hop character than the other beers. Like compared to Highland Park was very soft and very delicate. This is like level 11 Pilsner. You know what I'm saying?
It's got a good hop profile, but it's not. It cleans up pretty nicely, though. I think it's nice and hoppy, but it finishes really clean.
Carbonation's also notable.
This
on
isn't
this.
a Pils, it's a lager. It's a Helles. So, because when you
For
said
a Helles, wow.
when
This
you
is
said
very
Pils,
hoppy for a Helles.
Well, when you said Pils, I wasn't getting that on the nose. Like I'm like, this is a Pils, and that's why I checked. So it's because the nose is very flat. Like there's not really a whole lot going on, like you said earlier with like lager.
But I would say honestly, this probably has way more IBUs than a Pils does. Like a Helles should be in like the 10 to 20 range IBU wise. Like very little hop character.
I'm not getting a whole lot of bitterness on it though, Greg.
I'm just getting on the nose. It's like, wow, that's
Really?
fucking hoppy. You don't smell that?
I mean, maybe a little fruitiness, but
That middle fruit?
it smells
middle
like beer. It smells like beer. Like
It smells like beer.
yeah.
It's beer smelling beer.
I really like this. It has like enough hop character to be interesting, but not enough to be like overpowering or
Abrasive.
What do you think of the carbonation on it? Seems really
is a-
overcarbed.
What?
I almost want to say the opposite. It feels a little light.
Man. 4 Brewers, man. Can't agree
like,
on anything.
I honestly feel like it's a little lightly carbed. That's
Really?
weird. Yeah.
I
got
think
the
it's
first
fine.
pour and it's like
Like, I think it's perfect.
all the CO2 was at the top of the can that I got, apparently.
It was at the top of the can.
That's how it works. It's a tall can. That's the problem with those stovepipe cans. All the
Maybe if they-
carbonation goes to the top.
Maybe if you put the label on upside down, you
Yeah,
would turn
there
it
you go.
first so you get all the carbonation.
Well, I want to say with all these like local breweries doing German style lagers, yeah, they'll call them Helles, they'll call them Pilsner, they'll call it Italian Pilsner or Czech Pilsner, but to me it still seems kind of all over the place.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Whether or not they call it that, maybe it's not really quite that.
As long as it's tasty, I don't really give
Yeah.
a fuck. But like my wife, who has an aversion to hops, like
My
I would
wife.
recommend her to drink a Helles, but not a Pilsner. Because Pilsner is just way too hoppy. She's like, oh god, that's too hoppy. But a Helles, she's like, okay, that's perfectly approachable.
Hey, Past Me had this beer at the Modern Times Portland location and gave it a 4.
There you go.
So, Kyle, you said you thought this was batch 2. So,
Yeah, because I bought it.
probably was.
Yeah, I bought it before last year.
Man, it's so fizzy. How do you guys say it's almost flat?
I didn't say that. I said it's perfect.
Oh,
Did
It's
you
Jason.
swirl it?
I said it was light. It was somewhat undercarved, a little
You did.
undercarved, like lightly.
mine. I'm
not-
saying it's over.
It's that hard seltzer, man. It fucked us all up.
My palate's
we're all messed up on them claws.
The claws got us.
We're like Inspector Gadget. We're just fucking really harried by the claw.
You know, after drinking those, I don't think beer has anything to worry about. Like just keep making good
Oh,
beer.
those were awful. Like,
I
in
think if
comparison,
anything-
like, I mean, beer
I
is
think
so
if-
much better.
Yeah, exactly. I
don't
think if
wanna quit
anything,
you.
if anything is going to lose shelf space, it's going to be shittier beer that doesn't sell. So
Yeah.
All right,
may
just
the
passed
best liquid win.
I just passed around Green Cheeks Italian style Pilsner.
This is bottled after the Pivo, the Tipo Pills.
I had
This
this
smells fruity.
at the Firestone Walker Invitational.
Yeah,
I think this was the beer.
Beneficio Italiano.
When you add the hops into an Italian Pilsner, you add them in like this.
It's a
Salt
visual.
Hey.
Jason, you were there at the
Hey.
festival. Did you get some of this from did you get a pour from Evan when he was like pouring for people online?
Oh, at Firestone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the local import? I'm pretty
I mean,
sure
I don't know. It was just in a pitcher.
Well,
no. It was he had cans.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Wow,
So
so
it was a
undercarb.
long
yeah, so
day.
they've done the Italian style Pilsner recently, and based on the Instagram post, they are tweaking the recipe still. So
Yeah,
this
they
is a
keep
little
changing
bit,
things.
yeah, a little bit different. They said they went more California style or went hoppier. They dry hop this one, and they used Italian Pilsner malt, and its hop was Sapphire, Hallertau Blanc, and Huel Melon.
Sapphire is also the Pivo Pills hop.
Maybe I'm confusing this.
Oh, that is an interesting hop note.
So
That
this is not the collab they did with Firestone then.
No, this is a
Oh.
regular old beer.
It's kind
Again.
of sweet and bright. Like just
That's
the
what I'm
hop
confusing it
nose.
with.
It smells like a little bit like candy. That's interesting.
Ooh, that bit my tongue on that first.
That is
sip.
nice and lemony. Sort of lemon rind or lemon herbs. Herbal. Ricola.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it
Well,
really does have
yeah.
that kind of herbal lemony character. Like very mildly, not like they added
No,
herbs
for
to
sure.
it, but it's like reminiscent of that flavor.
It's beautiful.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I was just over there last Thursday, and Sam, one of the guys who works there that's got the huge man bun thing, he was...
Sam Durbin?
Yeah, he was doing slow pour pills with this beer.
The beer I was thinking
in a
of
beer stock glass.
at Firestone was short on long-term goals. That was that was their collab with Firestone. I was wrong.
I like that beer.
Wow. Let's just let John sit and think about what he's done.
John,
Yeah.
you had a media pass, and that was amazing.
It was pretty cool. Very grateful.
That was Jason.
The only other time I was offered a media pass for the Invitational was the very first year when I was in New Brew Thursday, and only Steve went, and Steve had like a blast, and then we never got invited. maybe we did the next year.
He gave a bad rep.
No. It wasn't that. I think too
many hugs.
They tightened up their media pass.
Yeah, the
That's
media
what they said, but in
graciousness.
reality, it was just Stephen Witt. Listen, David Walker, you ain't shit. I'm from New Brew Thursday.
We were pretty big back then. I mean,
We need to have that on a soundboard.
had a lot of
The
downloads.
woo.
Oh, dude, yes. We need the woo on a soundboard.
Woo!
The New Brew Thursday woo.
It's New Brew Thursday. Woo! There we go.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Macho Man woo.
You mean Ric Flair?
That's Ric Flair.
Ric Flair?
Holy shit.
Come on, Kyle.
I don't even know wrestling.
Yeah, I really don't.
That's old school.
I get a little bit of a vegetal character on the flavor on this. It's kind of asparagus-y for me, which is bad.
Oh, I
can see that.
I can see where you're pulling that from, but it doesn't register in that.
And the bad part.
Yeah, that's exactly.
When I say things are like, I equate it to, it's sort of a weird danky asparagus. I don't know.
That's pretty much what I'm getting. Yeah.
Okay, dank asparagus.
Dank
Yeah.
asparagus?
But it's not offensive.
And we've had, I don't want it in this beer. And we've had literal asparagus beer that,
Literal, yeah.
and it's good when it's intended, but this seems unintended asparagus. This is unintended asparagus. Unintentional asparagus.
All right, I can see that.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well,
You should name a beer unintentional asparagus.
No.
Fine.
oh my God.
Totally eaten out completely.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah, I think I like the previous version of this Italian style better. This is way hoppier than I remember the first version being.
I think it's good.
I think it's delicious. I enjoy it.
Saphir, Hallertau Blanc, and Huell Millen. I don't know how I feel about Huell Millen.
You know how I feel about Huell Melon?
It's
amazing. It's amazing.
Wow.
Overall, though, it was fun doing an all pills
All
/
pill show.
lager show and having some homebrew. It's been a while since we've had
Been a while.
some homebrew. Jesus Christ.
This Pils is California Gold.
There's got to be a beer called California
wow.
Gold, right?
Oh, yeah. There's
With
got to be
all
like
Huell
100
Melon,
beers.
Huell Melon hops in it.
All right, so new soundboard. It's amazing, and it's been a while on the
Been a
soundboard.
while.
How many slots were open?
And
There's 3 open
three
ones.
and New Brew Thursday woo.
Shit. I don't want to do It's Been a While.
We can get rid of.
If I'm going to do it, it's going to be the song, like
Yeah.
Stained or whatever. It was Stained, right?
get
yeah,
rid of
yeah.
Cheesy Dong.
Why?
This is the D game.
Cheesy
This is
Dong
like-
is so...
Cheesy dong.
Big nut.
I gotta say, that's a big nut. Like,
That's a
it
big
came
nut.
out to be one of my favrites. I didn't think I'd like it
Pretty
as much
good.
as
It's pretty good.
I like it.
Yeah, at first the big nut could surprise you, but
After a while, it becomes a part of you.
Oh my God, yes.
So yeah, thanks for sharing the beers, Kyle.
Thanks. Good homebrews, man. Keep up those homebrews.
All right, thanks for the feedback.
and